Another day, another Sasha Banks rumour. Every time I wake up, it seems to be Sasha Banks has done this, or Sasha Banks is doing that. It never actually comes from the mouth of Sasha Banks, but there's always a rumour going around. Now, is she leaving? Is she unhappy with WWE? Is she going to All Elite Wrestling? What is she doing? Why is she off TV? There's plenty of questions about Sasha Banks at the moment, and there is plenty of rumours, and we've got another one today as you see Sasha Banks versus Bayley in the NXT arena, and there's a reason why I put this match up in this arena, and this was a cool match. I have to say, a back and forth contest. I'm Sasha Banks and I'm going up against the CPU. My brother is not playing this, and there isn't any scripting in this matchup, so enjoy it whilst we discuss the topic today. But this is a follow-up video to my previous video where I talked about Sasha Banks doing work for WWE 2K in New York. You can check that out via the description box below. But it's just very surprising how much talk about Sasha Banks there really is. It feels like her being off of WWE TV has given her more exposure and more publicity than it would being on it. And I just wonder if the rumours that are coming out now about Sasha Banks being involved in projects behind the scenes with WWE is almost being fed out there by WWE to try and keep the other rumours about her being unhappy and her thinking about leaving the company under wraps, or just dampen them down a little bit more, because then it sounds like she's still invested in the company. Now, this follow-up rumour, I'm going to read you an extract from the article that I found. It comes from comicbook.com. I'll link that source too. But it says this: Sasha Banks hasn't appeared on WWE television since dropping the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania 35. Reports since then have been widely negative, with many stating that Banks is frustrated with WWE creative over the treatment of the women's tag team titles and the Boss and Hug connection, which was reportedly supposed to be split even if Banks hadn't been taken off television. While she's been off the road, reportedly to cool off, her social media posts have indicated she's still not happy with how the company has used her. A recent headline even showed her favouriting a tweet which was heavily critical of Raw and SmackDown as television products. But there's a chance this all may amount to nothing. According to PW Insider, Banks was in Orlando on Monday filming content for WWE 2K20, the company's annual video game. Now I'm going to read one more extract of this article. A separate report, this time from the Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer, stated that Banks met with Vince McMahon back in late May, and that the situation between her and the company has improved enough to where she might be back at some point this summer. Now, it's all ifs, buts and maybes, but again, more talk of Sasha Banks being involved in the WWE 2K franchise, and I just for a moment want to discuss that point first before we talk about any more around her departure or whether or not she's still unhappy with the company, because I think her being in Orlando could be important when it comes to a WWE 2K showcase and the women's evolution, as Sasha Banks is perched and crashed and burned and gives Bayley an opportunity to get back in the match. But I did find it interesting, the location of where they were shooting or filming this footage for WWE 2K being in Orlando. Now, we all know in Orlando, Florida, we have the NXT Performance Center, or the WWE Performance Center, and of course Full Sail, and that was where the four horsewomen began to apply their trade and be noticed. And so it would make sense for Sasha Banks to go to those two locations, film there and talk about her experiences, talk about some of the matches, some of the great moments she had down on NXT. It just makes sense. And again, it does tie into the fact that we could have a Women's Evolution showcase or some sort of story mode focused and driven by the women of the WWE. Now, I'd also like to think they would do this with Bayley, Becky Lynch and Charlotte, but of course with Sasha Banks being off TV and the others all active, it gives Sasha Banks perfect time to go and do this first. So if I'm thinking, you know, how truthful or how logical this could be, it makes sense. I could see it happening. And it builds upon the constant rumour that we will be getting something women's driven this year. Now, on top of all of this, and I did mention it when I was reading back that article from comicbook.com, Sasha Banks just recently favorited a tweet which was highly critical of the WWE. So whilst we're getting all this detail about her working with WWE 2K, being in New York, being in Orlando, she actually favorited this tweet, which I'm going to read out, from a fan commenting about the WWE product as Bayley escaped the bank statement and nearly picked up the victory. But this was tweeted out by someone called Superkick Party, and he was just being critical of the product. He said this: "With every passing Raw and SmackDown, I grow less and less interested in the product. I'm starting to realise that I'm supporting a shitty company for its past greatness rather than critiquing its current bullshit." I mean, he didn't really hold back. "I can't even sit through Raw or SmackDown anymore." So, highly critical. And Sasha Banks actually, I think it was either favorited or liked this tweet. One or the other, it's been picked up and noticed. Now, if you think about this, it could very well be her voicing her displeasure at the current WWE product. But I could still get suckered into the fact that this is a masterful work of a heel, because WWE recently have been doing that. They've been kind of tying in to the whole. I mean, look, the Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, I mean, that suckered me in, and it actually was true. Moxley and Ambrose wanted to leave. But we've been, we've seen WWE, kind of throw shade at the media by playing into it, and it actually is a work. And it wouldn't surprise me if this was part of the story for Sasha Banks to make her return, to just show that she's disconnected from the WWE universe. She doesn't like the WWE. That's why she doesn't want to come back. And then the rumours about her working on the video game are true, but she's building this towards a new heel persona. And if I'm honest, that's what she actually needs. She needs to have a heel persona, and retweeting, favoriting, or simply liking comments that are derogatory about the WWE make her an awesome heel, in my opinion, because it shows that she doesn't like the management, and she's willing to disrespect not just the WWE universe and the fans, but actually the company. Masterful heel. Where have we seen that before? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Where have we seen it for more recently? Becky Lynch, the man sticking it to the WWE and also willing to trade with others on social media. So it kind of plays into all of that. But I know that getting too carried away and thinking that this is a great work from the WWE and finally they're putting some focus on Sasha Banks could be me being too optimistic, and it actually is that she doesn't want to be there anymore. And then that means, goodness me, it swings and roundabouts, that the rumours about her working on 2K20 are simply that. Rumours, because WWE could be feeding these out just to keep those other rumours about her being unhappy swept under the carpet. My God, it is a conundrum, and there's so many pieces to the puzzle, and only two people really know what's real and what's not, and that's Sasha Banks, and of course I'd imagine that's Vince McMahon. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out, and I hope you're enjoying the contest that's unfolding before your eyes as we talk about this. But I want to get your views and opinions on this. Banks again crashed and burned, 2 high risks now, which did not pay off. Oh, but now a payoff from Sasha Banks. And I'll tell you what, anyone else find it very difficult with Sasha Banks to win with? Well, anyone find it very difficult in general to win with superstars that have submissions? I'm terrible at them. I'm getting better, but oh no. And that reversal doesn't help either. I mean, she's pulled that off twice now, has Bayley, but Sasha Banks still in this contest. 1, 2. Another near fall, and both women are exhausted. We got a classic here, and you know, thinking about that Women's Evolution showcase, I've seen people comment saying, I don't want that, I want something else. Well, if you weren't going to have that, what would you want? Because you would get some great matches from a Women's Evolution showcase, particularly if it's focused on the entire division. And it would be something very different, because normally when we have a showcase, it's focused on one superstar and their journey, whereas, I'm not sure what happened with my voice there, their journey, but it would be more focused on an entire division, which means that, you know, let's just say, for example, you didn't like Daniel Bryan last year. You're not going to play the showcase because you're not a fan of seeing Daniel Bryan's progression. You probably weren't a fan of when it actually happened. Whereas with the Women's Evolution, I'm sure you must like one of the women. So if you do, 2K are going to get you interested to at least play some aspect or some part. I tell you what would be cool. If we had a journey, maybe you call it The Journey for WWE 2K20, and you follow a path of one of the horsewomen and they all have their different paths. What about that? Let me know what you think. But anyway, I've said my piece, and Bayley picks up the win. Like I said, very hard to win with a superstar that has a submission as their finisher. But I want to get your views and opinions on this. What do you think of all the Sasha Banks rumours, her being in Orlando, working for 2K? Do you think it's smoke and mirrors? Do you think she's leaving? Have your say in the comments section. The rumours, I'm sure, will continue.